Even for a country the size of Russia, the scale of Vostok 18 is extraordinary. 36,000 tanks and some 300,000 Russian troops, a third of the country's military personnel, are on maneuvers in the vast expanses of eastern Siberia. The skies above are patrolled by 1,000 aircraft. In the Arctic and Pacific Oceans, 80 Russian warships are conducting mock battles and landing drills. For the first time, China is taking part with around 3,000 troops. Mongolia has also sent a contingent. In the front row seat Thursday, the Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I would like to say a special thank you to the armed forces of the People's Republic of China and Mongolia. Our fraternity in arms has long and firm traditions.
This is a remote corner of the world, but the exercises have global resonance.
As well as demonstrating to the West that it has this alliance with China, it's also an opportunity for Russia to show what it's learnt from its military interventions, for example in Syria, for example in eastern Ukraine, and how it's putting that to use in its military upgrades at the moment.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine prompted the United States and its allies to impose sanctions on Moscow.
The Western sanctions, which have been in place since 2014 on the Russian economy, have damaged Russia's ability to get, for example, military components that it used to get from its Western partners. And so Russia's military, in the meantime, is undergoing a 10-year-long renovation and upgrade. And so to pay for those parts, Russia is going to need to find alternative partners.
The exercises coincide with the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, with China engaged in a spiraling trade war with the United States. Analysts say Moscow spies an opportunity to deepen relations with Beijing.
They're politically becoming very close. Economically, the Russian-Chinese trade is booming, when other kind of trade, especially in Russia, is not booming at all. And also, of course, now militarily they're acting together as brothers in arms in military games that are basically aimed at the United States and its allies.
The slogans for the joint exercises read "Friendship for the sake of peace," but there are also sources of tension.
Particularly the Belt and Road initiative of China's that sort of bypasses Russia, especially because China is quite interested in countries like Ukraine and Belarus and using its infrastructure as a gateway to Europe. I think Russia is quite suspicious of what China is planning.
US Defense Secretary Jim Mattis told reporters Tuesday that he sees little in the long term that aligns Russia and China. The military exercises come amid threats from Washington of more sanctions against Russia if it conducts an assault on Idlib, the last rebel-held area in Syria. The United Nations has warned of a potential massacre of civilians. Henry Richwell for VOA News, London.